Hey guys, this is Atharva, and today on the AK channel, we're gonna learn how to find the square, cube, and square root of a given number. So let's start. Let's dive right into it. So first of all, we need to define a function. In Python, we use def, the def keyword def to define it. So let's just name it as the function as calculate because we're gonna just calculate the results. Def calculate and inside num. Num is going to be the parameter here, and what we shall do is that we shall just take input of the number from the user by writing num is equal to int input enter a number. We use the input function to take input from the user and just converted it to int, because just a heads up, the input function only and only takes strings, so that's why we convert it to int. Okay, now that we've done that aside, now let us write the code inside the function. What do we want over here? We just want to find the squares, cubes, and square roots. Well, that's pretty easy. I'll tell you how. We just need to print. Just a second. Yeah, print the square of and I'll just end the string here and add another string num. Why did I do this? Because I wanted the number to be inside the sentence. This whole thing is going to be a huge sentence, and this number is an integer. So that's why what we did is we wrote the square of as a separate string, and we wrote string num as a separate string because we want the number. If we had put in this in strings, then this would have this whole thing. Str. I'll just put this aside. If this would have been the case, the square of num, then it would have just simply printed num. We want the actual number which will be inputted by the user. So that's why we separate it out like this. The square of and str num, the square of the number num, and then again is, and then again separate it out. And now over here, I'll just tell you, of course, you can do num into num. Of course, that is correct. Str num into str num. Of course, we can do that. But yeah, rather than that, we should just do one shortcut over here, which is num asterisk asterisk 2. This double asterisk is known as the power function. Actually, it does the same thing as a power function. Actually, this is just an operator. Sorry. Yeah, so num into num star 2 basically means num square, num raised to the power 2. So this basically gives the square of the number. Yeah, so this is how we can find the square. Now let's do the same thing quickly for the cube. Over here, the cube of string num, again separating it out, is, and again str. What we do with this keyword is that we put the number inside the string. We put the number inside, the number which will be inputted, it will come over here, and the string num basically means that it will be joined along with this string, this entire string. I'll tell you that once we get the output. So yeah, string num plus is, let's go forward and write num into 3. Of course, this is the cube. Num num star 3. This is a better way of calling it, to be honest. Num star 3 means num raised to the power 3. Okay. Now that we've done that aside, let's go with the square root. The square root of str num is, what will be the answer? It will be str num into star, and now if you guys remember how to write the square or the cube, the square root in exponential form. For writing the square root, we write 4 raised to, for example, what is the square root of 4? It is 4 raised to half. What is the square root of 9? 4 raised 9 raised to half, which is 3. So basically, we write zero point 0.5 over here. Half isn't a number which is recognized by the compiler. Half is not an integer or just a number. In that case, half is not a number, so that's why you need to write zero point 0.5, which is recognized. Yeah, it basically means the same, but 1 by 2 is something which is not recognized in itself as a number. So yeah, str num asterisk twice into zero point 0.5. This is how we calculate the square root. Now that we've done that aside, this whole thing is inside the function calculate. Now we just want to call the function. This I'll just write this over here. This was function definition. And now what we wanna do is we wanna call the function. How do we call the function? We just write the function name along with the parameters or the arguments in this case. What are the arguments? Well, it's just num. It's just the number which we are gonna input from the user. And that's it. You're done. Now let's check the output. Hopefully we've done everything correctly. Yeah, enter a okay, wait. I wrote enter a function. Sorry, my bad. Enter a number. Wait. Hopefully this will run. Enter a number. Yeah. Let's enter 9. The square of 9 is 81. The cube of 9 is 729. The square root of 9 is 3. Perfect. Let's try something else. Let's try something like 25. Square 625. The cube of 25 is 15625. I probably don't know this answer, but I'll trust the computer that he knows it. The square root of 25 is 5. Yeah, perfect. So this is how we actually define a function to calculate the square, cube, and square root. And yeah, just if we want to summarize, we just take input from the user, then we define the function, then inside of it, we print the statements out and use string num, str num, to join the actual numbers inputted inside, and we use the str num as two times asterisk into 2. We do this for the operation to get the result inside it, and the asterisk 2 times basically operates like a power function. It basically means num 2 star into 2 basically means num square. Num 2 star into 3 means num cube. And for square root, we multiply the number and the power function by zero point 0.5 to get the square root. And finally, this is what we do for to call the function which we have just defined. So this is basically, in coding terms, it is known as a function call. Yes, that's it. You're done. So hopefully you guys understood this. And yes, I'm gonna create even more videos now. I'm just a college student studying computer science. So yeah, see you guys next time. Thank you.